You know, hate speech has no place on Facebook and in our community. Until recently in Germany, I don't think we were doing a good enough job. I went to this summit at the UN last, I think it was September or October, and I had a chance to talk to your prime minister. We partnered with government, online civil courage initiative, promoting counter speech, funded an effort with about 200 people to be able to help police and make sure that bad content isn't on Facebook. You know, our definition of hate speech in our community has always been around protecting you know, certain groups of people. You know, protected classes and groups of people. Migrants are a protected class, right? I think no surprise.
My name is Heiko, and I have a question. Thema live video. I can Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. No, in the moment, nur Prominente. And make videos in the next time live?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, on the one hand, you open the doors for everyone to the internet with internet.org, but on the other hand, you close them with the newsfeed. People live in their own made reality, depending on what they're posting, reading, what they like. And especially in Germany, I think it's a huge problem when you look at racism and things like that. So how do you want to prevent people living in their own filter bubble?
I think that this is actually a misperception. But the reality is that social media is actually probably the most diverse form of media that exists so far. You know, you have a bunch of friends, and while probably a lot of your friends share your values on different things, you know, it's likely that, you know, some portion, even if it's a minority, even if it's just 10 or 20%, but, you know, from the studies that we've done, it's, you know, as much as 30 or 40% of people have different values, different ideologies than you do on your friend list. Now, here's the kind of tricky part about human nature, is what we find, though, which is, I think, unfortunate, is that even though you know, almost 30% of the content in your newsfeed may be stuff that you don't ideologically agree with or is from people who you don't ideologically agree with, what we find is that people kind of tune that stuff out, right? And are much more likely in newsfeed to click on the content and to engage with it if it's what they agree with or believe in. So it kind of fits this pattern of, you know, you're going to watch the TV station whose editorial views you believe in, or the newspaper whose editorial views you believe in. And I'm not sure how to solve that problem yet.
Right, so about artificial intelligence especially. So I've heard you dedicated yourself especially to AI and developing home automation systems with voice control based on AI and so on. So what I would like to know is, what would you also contribute to that entire topic within Facebook, for example? Would you think that AI would be a great tool, for example, to detect and flag hate speech? I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It already is, and it can get a lot better.
And the top question is, hey Mark, we have seen some media use photos of victims or suspects from crime scenes or accidents that they took from Facebook, including from posts that are non-public without permission. This sometimes leads to innocent bystanders being accused. Do you find that okay?
Well, this is a tricky one. If it's not a public photo, then someone should not be taking your photo and using it publicly.
Yeah, so what do you do to stay professionally on track and on time?
Well, you're assuming a lot. You know, I have a great team who keeps me on time, but most of the time. You know, especially when I come to Germany, I try to stay on time. This is like the one place in the world where I really feel like I'm messing up if I'm not on time.
What are your views on influencer marketing, and how do you plan to support this moving forward?
Marketing?
Influencer campaigns and sponsored campaigns with public figures.
Well, let me talk about what we're doing with marketing overall, and then I'll kind of get to that. This is something that I monitor this very closely myself, because I want to make sure that every story that you see in newsfeed is good. I think the answer to that is yes. I think the answer to that is yes. Yes.
No disintegration.